chat week 8. Yeah,
Week 7.
Yep. No, it's week 8.
It's
Oh,
week
yeah.
8 college football
Oh.
because it's week 7 NFL.
Okay.
Yep.
I
So
mislabeled my picks somewhere.
week 8 college football. So we have to start with this because Ben just had the greatest week in the history of gambling.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I did.
Ben went from 46% basement cellar dweller to leading the show in win percentage.
Unbelievable.
He had
I'm sure
20. He had 25 picks,
No.
19 wins, 6 losses. One of his losses was his lock.
Yeah, it was. That's true.
Jesus.
Yeah, so he's now 4-5 on locks, 76, 65 and 2, 54% after a 19-6 week 7. That's you.
For all the
You
riders
like
out
that
there.
just doesn't happen.
Defied the odds.
Dude, I told you guys last week. It's like mid-season. Like I watched the teams. I know what I'm doing now. I'm ready.
Damn.
It's very impressive. Ferry went 6-7, 56, 50 and 1, 53%, 2-5 on locks. I went 9, 4 and 1, 56, 54 and 1, 51%, 4 and 3 on locks. The bad news is we all lost our locks.
Yeah.
Yeah, the parlay missed.
Mainly me and Ferry had the same lock, so that didn't help the cause. And then Ben had UNC -7. We're all above 500 though.
I just want to say the way I started that day was 0-6. Okay. I finished the day hella like strong. Like I was dead in the water. Like by 3:30, 4 o'clock, I'm like, I am done. I might retire next week. I might not be able to show up to the show. I literally was like, I might not give out any picks next week because I thought it was going to be one of those like 2-10 weeks. I was like, this is not good. This can't happen. This can't happen.
It was very funny when you sent your Action Network screenshot around halftime of the
Brutal.
the games. It's like, holy, like
A lot of
these are
red.
going right.
A lot of red. I'll say that.
Yeah. So recap. Let's start with recapping last week. Slate's not as great this week, so we can spend a little more time on this if you guys would like, because we have four big games. I know one we'll probably talk about extensively. But fair, if you want to start with your recap of last week, your winners, losers, and your top 10, as well as anything else that you want to bring to the table.
I think finally I get to say it. The Big 12 is my winner this week because, I mean, Oklahoma State obviously did well. You had Oklahoma's looking 10 times better with Caleb Williams rather than Rattler. That kid is just special. I mean, that's going to be said probably a bunch more. I hope we get 2 more years out of him, like
So he's
after this year.
special.
Like he's a special talent.
Okay.
Like I mean, like
Do you
continue.
disagree?
I don't know how you can disagree with that.
Been a game and a half.
He looks
it's
really
been-
fucking good.
He looks incredible.
You can
I really
continue.
hope. I hope he's continues this for the next 2 years, because that would just be as a fan wonderful to see.
Mhm.
Despite that means West Virginia's probably not going to beat them in their time, but that's fine. Baylor.
How that got tied into West Virginia, but keep it going.
It always does. It always does. I guess Baylor also looked good against BYU for their income because BYU is obviously coming. But I think the Big 12 is overall having a big win. We'll see what happens this week. As you know, I figured we'll be talking about one Big 12 matchup later. Biggest loser besides Iowa, obviously, I'm gonna say Duke getting blown out 48-0. That's pretty bad. And
Who'd they
Yale,
lose to?
Virginia.
Uh,
And then your boys Yale's team. I mean that was bad.
I have 2 of the same
Just talk.
losers as Ferry.
Those are the 3 main I thought. Top 10, Georgia 1, Oklahoma 2. Despite me having Cincinnati last week, I just think not him. Caleb Williams is that much better. It makes them that much better. Cincinnati 3, Alabama 4, sneaks back in. Ohio State 5, Michigan 6, Michigan State 7, Penn State 8, Oklahoma State 9. And then my 10th spot, I don't like it, but I don't like the other 2 teams. I put Ole Miss there. I mean, they have their 1 loss with Alabama, but other ones haven't really been that great either. But I didn't want to put Oregon there, and I didn't want to put Iowa there because I think they're not a top 10 team. But Ole Miss might not be either. But SEC rules over that.
Yeah, we have 9 of the same 10. I just had Oregon instead of Ole Miss.
It was a coin flip, and I just was
I
like,
agree.
I hate the Pac-12, so a little bias in my pick, but and
Yeah,
and you have a Heisman quarterback in Ole Miss, so I mean, I
Mhm.
thought,
they would probably beat Oregon in a neutral
I would
site.
I would agree with
Ole
that.
Miss.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
I just, I really want. I think they'll lose to. We'll get into it. I think they'll lose to UCLA. I just want to then knock them out. If that makes sense. Like it's like a, yeah. Ben, you can do your winners, losers, top 10.
My top 10. Georgia 1, Cincy 2, Oklahoma 3, Michigan 4, Michigan State 5, Oklahoma State 6. This is the first week that, and 2 teams with a loss have made it into my top 10. Credit Alabama and Ohio State. They're 7 and 8. Wake Forest 9, and then Coastal Carolina 10. Go Chanticleers.
All right.
Winners. I had UConn because they won a game. Go Huskies. UTSA and UTEP. Overall, the state of Texas outside of actual Texas. Baylor got a big win. UTSA got a big win. UTEP
Texas
got a
Tech
big
beat
win.
Kansas.
Yeah, Texas Tech beat Kansas. Everyone besides Hookem
SMU,
got a big
SMU.
SMU won.
Yep.
Big the state of Texas outside of Austin. And
Texas
then
is back.
Oklahoma losers Iowa and Yale. Because Yale,
Tough.
you can't lose to the Huskies at home.
No. Agreed.
That's enough said. Discussing that.
Yeah. I'm surprised this wasn't mentioned because you guys. Well, I know Ben really wanted to take a jab at Yale. Liberty lost his 32.5-point favorites outright.
Yeah, that is true. I forgot about that. That is brutal.
Yeah, that was I turned the game on in the last drive, and it started with they hit a 51-yard field goal to take the lead. Then Malik Willis gets the ball, gets sacked, and throws his 3rd pick of the game. The next play.
Kenny Pickett would never throw that many interceptions in
No,
a
he would
season.
The Boosters are not happy. They are not happy.
At Liberty.
Second loss for Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, that's
this year.
He's on the hot seat. Maybe. No, I'm kidding. He's a
fine.
god there. But well, I guess they never mind. I'm not going to go into that. With
I think he returns to Ole Miss this year for a game. I think they get Ole Miss.
That would
Liberty.
be.
I think, yeah.
Will he get a golf ball thrown in his favor then? Maybe. Ole Miss.
Yeah, they probably hate him more than Tennessee hates Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
My winners, Oklahoma State. It's like the quietest 6-0 start in the history of Power 5 football. Just no one has cared, but now that they beat Texas, people care. So good for them. Oklahoma. I mentioned this to Ben the other day. He wasn't having any of it. I could legitimately see Caleb Williams getting Heisman votes.
It's possible. I wouldn't say that's outlandish. I mean, he
has no chance of getting invited.
They're a completely different team with
it's
him.
a completely different team.
He started early enough where he would have then like won the majority of their games if they go 12-0 and win the conference championship.
He might need some other help too.
He won 2/3 of them.
Maybe if like Corral, dips a little bit, and if Bama gets 2 losses, like I don't know if Bryce Young necessarily is going to get it then, and if Oklahoma goes undefeated in the Big 12 championship game 2 with Caleb Williams putting up these numbers still, I mean I hope my Desmond Ridder pick works out, but I wouldn't be upset if Caleb Williams won for the Big 12 as well.
Yeah, then my losers, Arkansas, 4-0 start, then they've lost 3 straight. Their season's kind of spiraled out of control there. Iowa and then Liberty. I am glad that Iowa lost just because
that offense is not good. That offense is not
terrible.
good.
Terrible. And then there was like a 5-star receiver or 4-star receiver the other day who he was revealing his top 3, and it was Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Iowa. Just like, why is Iowa in that? That's the worst decision you could possibly make if you want to make anything of yourself as a receiver in college football.
Yeah.
Go to Army. You'd have a better shot at Army of doing anything than Iowa.
You always learn how to block good as a receiver.
Exactly. Then my top 10: Georgia, Oklahoma, Cincinnati, Ohio State, Alabama, Michigan, Penn State, Oklahoma State, Michigan State, and Oregon. All right. So, I really want to get to this game. We'll get into the big games. Is there anything else that you guys want to mention, break down from last week? It wasn't really the greatest Saturday ever. We were due for a letdown week after.
I had a good
Yeah.
time.
I enjoyed myself, but
I didn't like the beginning, obviously, but it shaped up to just be okay for me. But no West Virginia loss, so I mean, I don't have to complain about that.
Perfect. All right, so the big games this week. We'll start in Western PA.
Oh boy.
At the big ketchup bottle. Clemson taking on Pitt. Pitt is a 3-point favorite. Over under is 46.5.
More like 3.5.
Sure, whatever you want it to be. Over under 46.5. Ben, we'll start with you on this one.
So I already took Pitt outright at even odds because for some reason it was offered on my book. So I took that. That's going to be my only bet of the game because I got such good value. However, I will say I do like Pitt to cover -3. I'm a little more weary if it's 3.5, but then my team, I'm going to stand by them. I also think the under is sneaky good here, 46.5. So I'm not going to take it because I have so much riding on Pitt already. But if this was a normal week, I would be taking the under as well. I will be also at the game. If that means anything to you guys making your picks.
Maybe some live action you'll get if things are not going as well by halftime. You won't fall in the trap? No?
No.
I don't know about that. That's not the Ben I know.
Yeah.
That is not the Ben I know.
We're going to steamroll them.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Then you might as well,
I believe in Kenny.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch much of the Virginia Tech game, but based off the box score, I wasn't sure Pickett was he just a little slow. Like obviously, like they were up, plenty earlier on, so I assume they ran the ball a little bit more. But from the box score, Pickett didn't look like he had like a Heisman type game that he's been having. Is that fair to say?
It's fair. I mean, it's one game though.
No, I'm not hating on him.
Yeah, he was he was actually like kind of perfect.
Oh, just like game managing.
Game that he played. Yeah,
he's like game managing. Like no,
like, it was like everything he did. Like he just made all the right plays the entire game.
Fair.
And it was just like, like they weren't like great numbers, but like just watching was like, all right, like he's
got it. He's in control. Yeah. No, okay, I get that. I just wanted to make sure that was the case. I mean, because obviously box scores don't really always it doesn't always paint the picture, and especially for a quarterback in this town that we don't need to talk about on this show because that's a different, a whole different league here. But I like Pitt spread as well. Anyway,
yeah,
I wasn't sure me on Kenny Pickett and just take Pitt anyway.
Anyways, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to take it, but if I had to, I would take Pitt.
I alerted Ben to the even odds, so I also took Pitt then. I don't really like them at -3, and I like the under. I'm kind of on the same page as Ben on this one. Clemson has it.
I just don't like them 3.5. It goes up.
Clemson, I should have done this research before the show. Let me check real quick. Last week against Syracuse, what they let up 17, I think.
No, I think they won 17-14.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, 17-14. So they haven't allowed a team in regulation to score over 14 yet. Like this will be a real like test for Kenny Pickett that he hasn't faced. Real test for this offense. Yeah, real test for this offense. Like they're putting up insane numbers, but like this is a national championship level defense. Like for all intents and purposes, like this is
should be the
really
second best
good
defense in the nation behind Georgia.
Yeah, this is really good defense. So I'm excited to see this game. It'll probably be, and I don't trust Clemson's offense. They play so like it feels like they play so slow, and everything is like so like teams that play slow tend to control the tempo. and like Pitt likes to kind of spread it out, air it out. I think it'll be played more at Clemson's pace. So we'll see if Kenny Pickett just needs to make one more play than DJ. Is he capable?
I think so. Heisman game.
Just one more thing on the game. What's attendance looking like, you think, Ben? Is it going to be?
I've been hearing buzz. I think it's going to be probably the best game of the season for sure. Probably the best game since like a Penn State game, I would say.
So like 65%
Attendance-wise.
capacity.
Lower bowl will definitely be filled to the brim. The upper bowl, that just depends on students.
That's fair.
But
Not having a number next to Clemson's name is a little tough for that.
yeah, that makes me sad. But I
Yeah.
still think it should have been game day. But who am I?
Fair.
The backdrop of the Rose Bowl, though, you can't beat that. It's not. It doesn't.
The backdrop of the Three
backdrop
Rivers.
of all 8 yellow bridges that are in. All right, next
The
game
80
going
bridges.
to the Big 12. Oklahoma State traveling to Iowa State. It's Brocktober now, Ferry, as you know. Iowa State is a 7-point favorite. Over under is 47. Ferry, take it away here.
I know it's a system play. I know Matt Campbell gets going later in the season. They're at home, all of this, all of that, but it's just so disrespectful. Like it's truly disrespectful. And I hate it. I hate going against it, but I got to be a square. I got to take Oklahoma State +7. I mean, maybe if it was like +4, +5, I stick with Iowa State, but 7's a lot, and I got to go. I got to go against it. I mean, got to respect Mike Gundy. And Matt Campbell hasn't brought it. His team hasn't brought it yet this year. If it was a night game, maybe, because it would be cold. It'd be one of those cold, windy nights in Iowa, and anything can happen there. But it's a 3:30 game, I believe. So, I guess the sun's out. Oklahoma State's going to keep it going. I think it's just disrespectful. I got no other ways to say it. So Oklahoma State +7 is my pick.
Ben.
I agree. I honestly haven't really watched Oklahoma State besides like the second half of Texas. I bet against them last week. I thought it was sharp. Texas looked like they were going to cover, but they lost anyway. I don't even like Oklahoma State that much, but I just feel the disrespect that they are probably feeling. So I'm going to be a square and take them +7. I also like the over 47.
Ooh, I kind of like that too. So I have myself in quite a pickle here because when I first saw the line come out, Oklahoma State +6, I bet it. I don't like it now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double that bet on Iowa State -7 because this is such like a trap and it's the system. Like Iowa State's probably going to kill this team. I think Oklahoma State, like now everyone loves Oklahoma State. They just saw them beat Texas on big noon kickoff. Gus Johnson, break away from the cop speed. Everyone's seen it. They're not going undefeated. I wish. You don't want that.
Well, they have to play Oklahoma.
Yeah, the final game of the year. That would be electric if both are undefeated.
I also don't like Oklahoma State in any way. I just feel disrespected for them. I had this happen 2 straight weeks.
Yeah, but like last week, it wasn't is like there when you're playing Texas after Texas's week, like the obvious pick is Texas. So you have to take Oklahoma State. And now this week it's they beat everyone in the nation, saw them beat Texas. And Texas took Oklahoma to the wire. Like Oklahoma State's offense just isn't good enough. Iowa State's defense is way better than Texas's defense. I just don't see Oklahoma State keeping this that close. Probably like a 2017 or 20-7. Like something stupid like that, a 24-10.
Fair.
Something weird. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But I wanted to share that the pickle that I was in. But
that's fair. I mean, I like Matt Campbell. Like Matt Campbell's good late in the season. I mean, that's the thing. So I mean, I get it. I don't love the pick either way. Like I'm only doing it out of disrespect, as Ben as well. I think.
Yeah, now it is pretty disrespectful line. Next game. LSU at Ole Miss. Ole Miss and LSU both coming off big wins a week ago. At Orgeron. It's funny that we said last week, we're like, is this at Orgeron's last game? And Kinda.
You could, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So Ole Miss is a 9.5-point favorite, Ben. The over-under is 75.5.
I'm not probably gonna watch this game or really have any interest in it. I will probably be batting Ole Miss just because I think Lane Kiffin's players are gonna stand up for him after the shit that happened on the field after the win last week. I think at home, the fans will be behind him. I think it'll be a good environment. I think
Add that to my
LSU
card.
won't be prepared with a new coach.
Well, Ed Orgeron's still coaching.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought is he finishing the season?
Yeah, it was just after last game they announced that he's gone.
Okay,
After the
then I'm still going with Ole Miss because they're just a better team, but I was not aware.
Ferry, what
Yeah.
do you think?
Before Ben's great analysis, I only had the over 76 just because like it's just too much fun. You know, obviously it didn't pan out last week with the 82. That happens. I think both teams just are going to score a bunch of points again. But with Ben's persuasion, I love that reasoning that their players are going to come out for Lane Kiffin at
Big
home.
crowd, I think too.
Big crowd. Like I could see it. I could see it. So, and what's the spread again? I missed it.
9.5.
9.5.
Doesn't matter. I'll take it. 9.5. I'll be taking the over and almost 9.5.
Yeah, I guess I'll go with Ole Miss too. LSU's just too inconsistent.
Yep.
To trust, and Florida is inconsistent too. Like you can't really get a great read on that. I'll go Ole Miss too, and it's just their offense is too good. They're tough to stop, so I'll roll with them. Next game, Oregon college game day. Oregon at UCLA. UCLA is a 2-point favorite. The over under is 59. Ben, what do you think about this one?
I love UCLA. I think all of us may also love UCLA. I think it's smart play. I think Oregon low-key kind of stinks. UCLA's pretty good. They've lost, I think, 2 games, but they were pretty good teams. I feel like. I think UCLA, I was about to say UNC. UCLA at home wins maybe by 7 or 10. I think it's a little low, but that's my pick.
Fair.
Also riding UCLA -2 by definition. That's a system play. I already went against the system with 1 pick. I can't do it again with 2 picks. So UCLA -2. I think UCLA's home crowd isn't as big because like they've proven that their home crowds aren't usually the greatest because I guess there's a lot more things to do.
Not a football town.
It's just not a football town. Like it's just not like it's LA.
It's a city. It's like Pitt.
It's city.
They have,
Yeah.
the, pit,
City
they have
schools.
the pit problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
City schools aren't like big football teams. Like
That's the thing.
fans.
So
campus
like-
is too far away from Pasadena.
exactly. So I don't think home crowd is the reason why they win, which I think that's why it's only -2. If they had like legit home crowd, it'd probably be closer to like the -3.5, -4. But either way, UCLA -2 because let's just end the Pac-12 season and Oregon season.
Yeah, the Pac-12 like it just cannibalizes itself.
Every year.
Utah did it last week to Arizona State. All right, 10-minute warning. Yeah, love UCLA. Oregon has given up the 2nd most yards per game in the Pac-12. Their defense is bad. Like it's just not. And I love Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I think he's a really good player, and he should have a field day against this defense. Oregon maybe could have lost to Cal, a really bad Cal team. They lost to Stanford, who's not very good. Like this team they're playing with fire, and they're going to get burned this week by Chip Kelly. So
yeah,
right.
revenge game.
Oh, I hadn't even considered that. Revenge game too.
Game.
System and revenge. UCLA.
Luckily, it's not in
-2.
Eugene. Otherwise, he'd have a golf ball maybe too. Well, probably not because it was a weird breakup. But you know.
Yeah. All right. Fair. If you wanted to start with your cards or your card and save your lock for last.
I'm gonna try to make it quick because of our time. Besides my, I love App State +4. You know what happened to me last year. App State +4. It's my video.
What happened?
The video that I had sent a few weeks prior in the App State Coastal Carolina game.
Yeah.
You could have just gone down with it. It's a bad loss. I don't want to get into it, but revenge game for not only myself at Upstate +4. Once again, it was +4 last year. This year it's at App State. They have a great fan base, great home atmosphere there. So huge revenge game for me. Huge revenge game for them. Obviously more so for me because I might even sprinkle money, little money line action on that too because I think Coastal Carolina might just lose a game this year. Maybe they don't go undefeated and this would be the one. So big. That's a big night. Big game tomorrow night. App State +4. West Virginia is in prime time. In case you guys didn't know, I just want to make you guys aware of that.
Thank you.
On ESPNU.
Oh, yeah, awesome. The primetime ESPN.
I thought you were gonna be quick.
So I try. This is quick for me, not for most. Oklahoma first half and full game. Kansas. I mean, hopefully Caleb Williams probably just lays a deuce on him first half. Maybe Spencer Rattler comes back in second half. Maybe he's pissed off. Maybe he covers for us. I'm taking him first half and full game. I'm gonna take. I'll say that was my lock. Kansas State, Texas Tech over 16.5. Just Big 12 over. Why not? Kent State versus Ohio. Kent State -5. Ohio freaking stinks. I already said okay. State +7. UCLA -2. Over Ole Miss LSU. Ole Miss spread. Thank you, Ben. BYU Washington State. I'm gonna take. I just gotta wait for this BYU bounce back despite their 2-game losing streak. Washington State has no head coach. Obviously, I'm sure you guys saw as he is refusing to get the vaccine, so they canned him. Despite being on a 3-game winning streak, I still like BYU -4.5. I mean, I'm sure you saw the system play. Air Force -3.5 against San Diego State. Air Force, it's 5-1, 6-1, whatever they are. San Diego State might be undefeated, but Air Force at home. System play -3.5. Then I like Michigan -23.5. I think they just hop on it right now. Like they're going to keep killing these bad teams. It's that kind of Michigan year, I guess. We'll see what they are next week and the final game against Ohio State. And then I have my lock later on.
Ben.
So Coastal -4 at App State. My fuck Ferry pick. San Jose State -5 at UNLV. UNLV stinks. They're on UConn's level of bad. Memphis +3 at UCF. I think UCF's very bad. Cincy Navy under 50.5. I think that's a very easy under. Illinois +23.5 versus Penn State. State Penn, as I like to call them. This is only if Sean Clifford is not starting. Wake Forest -3.5 at Army. Love that. Wake Forest just a better team. Army only runs the ball. Everyone knows that. Texas Tech -1 versus Kansas State. Wisconsin -3 at. Wisconsin -3 at Purdue. I think Purdue low-key stinks and they shouldn't be ranked. OK State +7 at Iowa State over 47. Already said. UCLA -2.5 versus Oregon. Ole Miss -9.5 versus LSU. Pitt -3 versus Clemson. Also the under 46.5. Western Michigan -2.5 at Toledo. I think they're just a better team. I almost made this pick my lock. Washington State +3.5 at home versus BYU. I think everyone's going to be on BYU. I think Washington State wins outright. Cal -9 versus Colorado. I put a bunch of question marks into this game. I don't understand how they're this big of a favorite, but I'm in. Cal -9 versus Colorado. Liberty bounce back week -21.5 at North Texas. They're going to try to kick the shit out of this team and stomp them very early.
Agreed.
TSA -7 at LA Take first week being ranked. I think they're going to win this game. Big week coming up next week. If UTEP also wins,
that's a big game.
Maybe the game, my favorite game of the year so far, if it happens. Fresno State -3 versus Nevada. Ohio State -21 at Indiana. Miami +3 versus NC State. I think Miami could win this game at home. Virginia versus Georgia Tech over 62. Virginia has a very high-flying offense. I think this goes way over. And I'll save the lock.
I like a lot of your picks, Ben. Thought I'd let you know. Iowa State -7, Air Force -3.5 system play, Coastal -4. I already bet it at -3, but since I'm a man of the people, I will have -4 for the show because I still like that. Wisconsin Purdue under 40 is going to be the worst fucking football game of all time. Liberty -22. All the reasons Ben said. They lost as 32.5 point favorites, so they're going to kill this team. UTSA -7, Nevada +3. I think that they're a better team than Fresno State. I think they can win outright. I'll take Carson Strong over Jack Hayner.
Better quarterback.
Better quarterback. SMU minus 13.5. I don't know why the line was so low. It's a mess in Tulane, as we know. So SMU minus 13.5. Army +3. I think they can beat Wake Forest. Wake Forest isn't going undefeated. This is the most inflated Wake Forest ranking ever. And Army, like when you play the triple option, like things just
I'm switching
go,
my pick. Switch mine to
things
Army.
just,
plus
things just go
3.5.
fucking crazy.
I'm in.
Ohio State minus 20. They should kill Indiana. Michigan minus 23.5. All the things that Ferry said. Northwestern's going to really struggle to score in this game. It's going to be.
Almost my lock. Michigan was almost my lock, which
Yeah.
I just didn't have it in me.
They're going to have a lot of trouble scoring. Clemson Pitt under 48. BYU minus 4.5. I added from Ferry. San Jose State I added from Ben. I really like that pick too. I also really like your Miami pick. That'll be a game time decision, Ben. It's a sharp pick. I like that a lot.
Thanks.
My lock of the week's UCLA -2. I've
go.
already bet it and I love it. UCLA
System.
Yeah, I'm done making my lock really bad football teams. Shout out Greg Schiano. Ben, what's your lock?
My lock was said by Chuck. It was very early in his card. I made my lock a Friday night game because I'm not sure how many games going to be able to watch on Saturday because I'll be tailgating and attending the pick game. SMU minus 13.5. Tulane, as we said and as we know, is a disaster. They'll easily win this game by 2 touchdowns.
Very fair.
Friday night ass kicking.
Yup.
Down in Tulane.
No,
Yeah.
it's in SMU.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
SMU? Oh.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
so okay.
Yeah.
The mess goes on the road. But against unfortunately, Chuck, I am taking crappy teams as my lock. I'm going with the under of Florida State UMass. I don't know if you saw the spread. It was Florida State's 35-point favorites. I almost took UMass, but I don't know if I could because I couldn't sleep at night if I laid 35 points with Florida State on anybody. But I just don't see UMass scoring, so therefore Florida State is probably gonna win like 49 to 7, just to hit the under 60. Boom.
That's a
I'm
wild
gonna take the parlay. I love the pick. I'm in.
This is a good parlay. That's a crazy.
I'm in on adding that
Crazy
to the
lock.
2 games.
That's crazier than the Southern Miss one.
yeah. Dude, Florida State's 35-point favorites. Think about that.
College.
Florida State should be 35-point favorites against anyone. They can't.
Fair enough. All right. That has been the show. Week 8, Chuck's Chat, YouTube, college football. Pick'em, locks of the week, UCLA, SMU, and the under in
In
UMass
that
Florida
stupid
State.
game. Go Pitt.
Hail to Pitt. When we come
Hell to
back,
Pitt.
Pitt will be a top 20 team in the country after their
Yes.
ass kicking of Clemson.
Bang.
Bang. All right, that's the show.